In a quiet barangay tucked between rice fields and winding dirt roads, 17-year-old Marco Dela Cruz spends his evenings in a way no one his age does anymore, listening to old Elvis Presley vinyl records on a scratched, decades-old turntable. The device crackles every time the needle touches the surface, but Marco loves that sound. It reminds him of his grandfather, the man who first introduced him to Elvis before passing away the year prior. The other kids in his neighborhood laugh at him sometimes. "Why Elvis? That's for old people," they tease as he walks by, carrying his vintage denim jacket and a notebook full of lyrics. But Marco never minds. When he closes his eyes and listens to "Can't Help Falling in Love," he feels like he's stepping into another world, one where dreams are big, and voices matter. Every night, after helping his mother sell Pandasol from their tiny store, Marco practices singing in their small living room. His mother sits nearby, pretending to read but secretly watching him with quiet pride. But it's his grandfather's old Elvis necklace, an enamel pendant shaped like a guitar, that gives him courage. He wears it every time he sings. One evening, feeling unusually brave, Marco records a simple audition video for America's Got Talent using his cracked smartphone. No fancy background, no microphone, just him, barefoot, standing beside their oscillating electric fan with the curtains blowing behind him. His voice, however, is anything but ordinary. Rich, deep, soulful. He uploads the video without expectations, but overnight, everything changes. Views explode, comments pour in. People ask, how does a Filipino kid sound this much like Elvis? 3 days later, while Marco is sweeping the front yard, his mother runs outside screaming, phone in hand. "Marco, Anik, AGT just emailed you. They want you in Los Angeles." Marco drops the broom, hands shaking. This is the moment his world shifts forever. The Los Angeles Convention Center buzzes like a beehive, packed with dancers, magicians, comedians, and singers warming up their acts. Lights flash, producers rush by with clipboards, and nervous contestants rehearse loudly in every corner. In the middle of all this chaos sits Marco, clutching his grandfather's Elvis necklace and a small backpack containing his entire world, 3 shirts, a toothbrush, and the denim jacket he always sings in. Everyone around him seems larger than life. A man with a booming opera voice practices high notes that shake the walls. A hip-hop group blasts music as they flip effortlessly across the floor. Marco simply watches, shoulders tight, wishing he could shrink into his chair. He hasn't said a word since arriving. A producer approaches. "Marco, you're up in 15 minutes. His heart drops. 15 minutes. He hasn't even warmed up. On stage, the hosts Terry Crews and the camera crew prepare for interviews. Marco notices Terry looking in his direction. "Hey little man." Terry waves warmly. Marco gives a shy smile but can barely get his voice out. Everything feels unreal. Then the moment that shakes him, Simon Cowell walks by. No smile, no nod, just a quick glance at Marco from head to toe. Not judgmental, but curious. Still, Marco panics inside. He probably thinks I'm just another kid trying to imitate Elvis, he tells himself. Behind him, 2 other contestants whisper. "Who's that?" "Some Filipino kid. Doing Elvis, I think." "Elvis? Oh boy." Simon hates copycats. Marco swallows hard. His hands shake. His legs bounce uncontrollably. He feels like running back to the Philippines right now. But then he grips the Elvis necklace tightly, remembering his grandfather's voice. Elvis didn't copy. He believed every word he sang. Marco steps onto the massive AGT stage, and for a moment, the world seems too big for him. The bright spotlights blind his eyes, and he hears the distant echo of thousands of murmuring audience members. His heartbeat thunders louder than the crowd itself. Simon Cowell, Heidi Klum, Howie Mandel, and Sofia Vergara sit before him like 4 unmoving statues. Marco's breath catches. On TV they looked friendly, but in real life, they are intimidating. He clears his throat, gripping the microphone stand. Heidi leans forward with a gentle smile. "Hi there, what's your name?" Marco. "Marco Dela Cruz," he stammers, his Filipino accent filling the arena speakers. "And how old are you?" Howie asks. 17. Sofia tilts her head. "You came all the way from the Philippines just to audition?" Marco nods. "Yes, yes." A few people in the audience laugh softly, not mockingly, but warmly. His nervousness is obvious, but somehow endearing. Simon raises a brow. "All right, Marco. So, tell us, what are you going to do for us today?" Marco swallows hard. Here it comes. I'll be singing an Elvis Presley song, he says, voice barely above a whisper. The audience shifts. Some people sit up straighter. Some smile knowingly. A few judges exchange looks. Another Elvis impersonator. Simon's expression turns unreadable, arms folded. What made you choose Elvis? Simon asks. Marco inhales shakily. He inspired me. My grandfather loved him, he said. Elvis sang with his heart, not his mouth. I want to do the same. Simon leans back, still unconvinced, but interested enough. All right then, Marco. The stage is yours. The music cue is seconds away. Marco closes his eyes, breathes once, twice, the first soft strum of the backing track echoes through the arena. Marco's fingers tremble around the microphone, but the moment the melody settles, he takes a deep breath, and opens his mouth. What comes out isn't the shy, nervous voice the audience expected. It's rich, it's smooth, it's smoky, powerful, and shockingly familiar. The first note alone sends a ripple through the theater. A woman in the front row gasps. A man further back stands up instinctively. On stage, the judges freeze, every single one of them. Simon's eyes widen. His jaw literally drops. He leans forward, elbows on the desk, squinting as if trying to confirm whether the voice he's hearing is real or a trick. It's not a trick, it's Marco. As Marco hits the second verse, confidence begins to replace his trembling. His shoulders loosen. His voice grows fuller, richer, every syllable dripping with the same effortless soul Elvis once mastered. But this isn't impersonation. This is raw, emotional storytelling, rising straight from Marco's chest. Heidi covers her mouth, stunned. Howie nods rhythmically, whispering, "Wow, wow." Sophia fans herself dramatically. He sounds exactly like him. Backstage, Terry Crews watches the monitor with disbelief. Even crew members rushing by stop mid-step to listen. By the time Marco reaches the chorus, the arena is dead silent, so silent that his voice fills every corner, every seat, every heart. Then, all at once, the entire audience stands to their feet. A wave of cheers erupts, drowning out the music for a moment. Marco doesn't see the crowd. He's lost in the song, connected to his grandfather, to his dream, to the moment he never thought he'd reach. As the final note leaves Marco's lips, long, powerful, and filled with a trembling kind of emotion, the entire arena erupts before the music even fades. People leap to their feet. Some scream, some cry, others simply clap with both hands over their mouths, shocked into disbelief. Marco stands frozen, chest heaving, unsure whether to smile or cry. He looks small on the huge stage, but the roar around him makes him feel 10 feet tall. Heidi is the first to speak, her voice trembling. Marco, that didn't sound like an impression. That sounded like someone who lives music. Sophia nods vigorously. It was like Elvis himself was here, but it was also you. You made it your own. Howie grins. This is what AGT is about. Discovering something none of us expected. Then everything grows silent as all eyes shift to Simon. Simon sits back in his chair, staring at Marco for a long, heavy moment. His expression isn't playful or critical, it's emotional. Deeply emotional. He presses his lips together, fighting a smile. Marco, he begins softly, I've heard hundreds of Elvis covers, and most of them, honestly, aren't very good. The audience laughs lightly. But what you just did, Simon continues, leaning forward, was on another level. You didn't copy Elvis. You honored him, with your soul, with your heart, and with a voice that is absolutely unbelievable. Marco's eyes well with tears. And then Simon stands. He puts both hands on the golden buzzer. This is one of the best auditions we've had all year. Marco shakes his head, not believing it. Then,